So again, Greenland with the DAX functions, and then we'll go with the data warehouse concept, and then again repeating that. Okay, warehouse means just nothing but collection of things, uh, keeping it one place. Generally, we'll call it as warehouse, or else godowns, or else storage kind of locations, so whatever we call it as. Warehouse means collection of items in one place from different locations. So what about data warehouse? Data was nothing but collecting the data from different sources and keeping it in one place. That is what data warehouse. For that, I'll give you an example. Like, let us suppose that we can see different department stores or something else which are there in different locations. Let us suppose that more superstore, Reliance Fresh, or else Heritage. So these kind of things are there in each a lot of locations. Like even in cities, okay, you can find from different locations we do have. So what exactly they will do? They'll have like front end applications. In the front end application, they'll take the orders. Like you'll have a counter in each and every store, maybe multiple counters. In that, okay, when you purchase some, want to purchase some orders, you go there and then they'll enter all the details. Nowadays, okay, they are entering just by scanning. Scanning the barcode means okay, they'll enter that particular item, and then you'll have a bill. In that bill, like you can see a lot of things will be placed over there. Your item, your address, okay, the store address, and then your phone number. Okay, sometimes they'll ask for your phone number, and then again the order number, order time, date, and then afterwards uh, all the products that you've been bought, and then this prices, and then discount that you got, and then what more you made a payment within the cash or card or whatever it might be, UPI payment, scanner, whatever it might be. All the details you'll have in your okay, bill, and then the same bill has been stored already in this on that particular system. Okay, let us suppose that the Reliance store has been started okay a lot of years back, and then all the data can be stored itself in that particular system. So what they'll do, they will send the data periodically to another server or to another place, and then they'll free up their space of the system. So this will happen even periodically, maybe daily or else weekly or else monthly. So it depends upon how much okay data orders are they getting per day. Based upon that, they'll store the data, the historical data in some other places like big servers. So those servers are called as data warehouse over here. Let us suppose that I do have different stores at different locations, and then all Vishakhapatnam stores are saving the data in Excel files, and then Hyderabad locations stores are saving the files in SQL, and then like this kind of different things may happen. They store in different databases, and but uh, altogether all the data need to come into like one place, and then they need to store. Okay, they don't want to store like historical data, like okay 5 6 months of data or 5 6 years of data. They can't even store in that particular single system. So let me show that in a pictorial way. Maybe you can understand that. So this is one place and then 1 dB, and then like this is one place and 1 dB, and then this is one place and 1 dB. So these things may be different. Okay, these things you can see this one may be one type of database, and this one may be another type of database, and then this one may be another type of database. It depends upon the different databases. Then afterwards, okay, these things will come into place. Okay, else I'll make it over here rather than that, or else. And then okay, so they'll directly enter okay all these data okay periodically. So every 1 week, okay, they'll store the data, and then they erase the old data, and then they'll freshly start with new data. So you can even see that okay, if you place an order, and then if you go after a few days, okay, 1 month later, they'll tell that you need to come back again only before okay 10 days. Then only they'll return or replace or whatever it may be. If you go later that period, means okay, they don't take a refund or else return or whatever it may be, because until then only they are keeping your data, and after that they are sending the data to data warehouse, and then that data won't available in that particular store itself. So if you need the data, they need to again contact the data warehouse, and then from there only they need to get that. So that is the logic why they ask you to get it refund or return only in 10 days or 1 week only. After that, if you go, doesn't happen. So here, see, so this transactional data, the data which is like generated at the stores, okay, this we will call it as transactional data, or we'll call this area as OLTP, transaction process. This is called as online transaction process. OLTP, we'll call it transaction process. Means here, whenever a transaction is done, okay, a data is entered and then that will be stored. And then here, what are the operations that will done? Okay, that will insert, create, okay, insert, okay, and then delete, modification, modify or alter or whatever it might be. So these things only happen in the data. The data will be only in one format, one single table or something else, and then they can delete, enter, or modify this. Or else, these things only they can do. They can't do any like joins kind of things, or else any ETL part or something else. They can't do those things over here in ETL. And then here in data warehouse, okay. So this data will be stored over here, and afterwards, okay, whenever we want to create, okay, reports, analysis process. This is analysis. Let us make this over here like this, and then this is like a mining process, data mining. So in that, okay, something, and then this is a reporting tool or report I want to generate over there, and then in that case, okay, we might use some other things. So this is the reporting process, and then analysis process, and then like this is what all this process is called, okay, analyzing the data. So this area, what we call it as OLAP, online analysis process. So again, here what if we do the data which was stored from the 10 years, okay, so that the data which is stored since the last 10 years, okay, from here, from the OLTPs, all the data will be stored over here in the data warehouse from different locations, and then different data sources, files, okay, will be stored. Then all will be stored in such a format in tables, and then columns in different ways, in the different schemas. And then afterwards, whenever we need it for our analysis process, we can get the data from here, which will get all the historical data. You can get all the data from 10 years. If we go directly to, if we connect directly to OLT, we only will get, okay, few days data. We don't get all this data, and then that too from different sources. If you go for one store, then you can get only one store. But if you go for data warehouse, you can have all the stores data, because all the stores will send the data to data warehouse. So that will be like warehouse where all the data from different stores and the different locations and then different sectors, even stores we do have, but at the same time procurement we will have the same time we'll have transportation, and then they also will have some data, and then we do have HR kind of department, and then each and every store there might some employees, and then all these total all Reliance kind of employees will be those data will be stored in somewhere else. So that is also will be available over here. So in this way, if you analysis process is this one, and then data the data will be generated in OLTP process, and then all this will be stored in a part which is called as data warehouse. This is earlier we used to have like this. Afterwards, we got another intermediate part, which we call it as staging area. This is called as staging area. Okay, this part is called staging. We'll call it as staging, and then afterwards we got another a sector over here. This is called as data mart or data lake or whatever it might be. So let's make it like data mart. Data mart. Okay, what exactly is this? Let us suppose that I do have lot different kinds of sections of data we do have, and then I want to like don't want to club all the data. Okay, I want to have HR data in one sector, and then like sales data in one section, and then uh, production 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 data in one section. So and then again some other like what we call it as any other data. So why we use this why we got this kind of things in recent times means uh, in OLAP while analysis I don't want all the data, I want only sales data. So rather than taking all the data will be segregated into different sections, and then that will be stored. Even this is historical data, it will be like sales data means 10 years sales data, but not the HR data. So in that way, they've been segregated. If I need only the production data, why need to send all the sales and HR data? What is need of that for me? I need to create a report only on production. It means I don't want to have anything with these. I don't have any use of these two things. But even if you go with have a relation with this data warehouse, and then if you get that whole entire 10 years data of sales and HR, which is not useful for me. So in that case scenario, data marts will come into place where it will segregate the data into different sections, and then whatever that we need, it will give. If we need all the three data, we'll get a relation links with all these three data. But if you want only this data, we'll get this data. So in this way it happens. So this is entire structure of okay converting the data like from the generation to like analysis process. So here you can see the data, what all the things that we can do. We'll do joins, and then like complex querying, and then complex querying, all the things, and then like we'll have relations, and then like we'll create some like repetitions, unions, uh, and then with including all this process, we have this process also. So what we are doing in joins and then union, all these things, we are repeating the data. Here we are not repeating the data. Here we are repeating the data. For our sake of analysis process, we will do like we'll repeat. Sometimes we need to repeat the data, not every time. Sometimes we need to have. So here the data will not be repeated. So faster action because limited data, and then here the action will be like slower. Okay, slow process, and then here no repetitions, or else no redundancy. What we call it as repetition means redundancy, or else what we call it as anything. Okay, I'll write it like repeated repetitions, and then like no repetitions, kind of things. So this is called as whenever no repetitions, and then no joins kind of thing. So all these things, fast reaction means okay, what we call it as normalized data. Again, we get the concept of normalized, denormalized. This is denormalized, denormalized data. What does it mean by normalized and denormalized data? Normalized data, the data which is not repeated, unified data. It's called as normalized. Whenever we create repetitions, and then whenever as per our requirement, okay, so that is called as denormalized data, which is not unified. So that is main difference between normalization and then denormalization. So in these formats, okay, we derive what we call it as the data warehouse. So this is the main concept. And then there are a lot of other concepts like data lakes concepts, and then that is not necessary at this stage, at this part. This is enough to understand what exactly the data warehouse is. Okay, this is up to like the data warehouse, and then we'll go for connection modes. Okay, where we need to understand what exactly. We do have two connection modes basically. One is import mode, and then second one is direct mode. What exactly is them? And then how we can get the data from them. So while we get the connections, okay, to get the data, we use this kind of, as I told you, right? Okay, we do have two modes. One is like import mode, and then second one is direct query. What is this one and what is this one? Import mode is nothing but, okay, we'll get the data into Power BI. So whatever the data, okay, we'll get it into Power BI. Means we'll get the data into, we don't keep the data somewhere else, we'll get the data into Power BI. So data will be like here only within the Power BI. So action will be faster. Retrieval of data will be faster. And then here, data direct query means we don't get the data, entire data into Power BI, we'll get only schema. Schema means skeleton. We'll get the schema from the DB to the Power BI. We'll get only the column names, and then we'll get only the data types. We don't get the data completely. Tables, and then envelope tables, and then the columns we'll get. In that, we don't get the data. Only we'll get the column names and then the data type. We'll get the schema. So it is like every time whenever you do some operation, the Power BI need to go using this schema. Will write the text, and then whenever we do the operation, it need to go into database, and then it need to fetch all, do the calculation. That it need to fetch the answer, and then the answer need to come into like Power BI. So as we are not having that entire data, we are having only schema in Power BI. It is slow. Why we use slower and why we use them? Whenever you see, okay, we are getting the data into Power BI, you see whenever a huge lot of data is there, then obviously it is difficult to us to get the data into Power BI, because the size of Power BI will also increase in that way only. So if we are saving the data in Power BI, means, okay, the size of the Power BI PBXL file also will increase, but we do have some limitations for Power BI. So in that case, okay, the storage also, the storage storage, okay, this is used for, okay, limited data, less data, or limited data, whatever you can tell it as. But whenever we have very big okay data, then we can use direct query, because we are not going to get entire data, we are getting only the schema. Whenever we do some queries, or whenever we do some DAX or something else, it will go to the SQL server, or else whatever the relational database, it will go into that database, and then fetches, and then calculates over there, and then get the answers to here. So no need of, okay, the size issue. So obviously we can work with excuse me, choose data. Data, or else, or we call it more data. So these are the main key parts, okay, to describe these two things. Why we use, when we use, based upon the requirements, and then based upon the situations, we need to make these things. Whenever, mostly based upon data, if it is too okay, then we can make it using this import mode. If the data is too big, we can't, the file is going to be increased very, very big, then obviously we'll go with direct query. So what is exactly this? Let me show you, and then what will be the differences that you can see in Power BI if you use that one. I'll go with SQL Server, okay, and explain you what are the modes. Generally, whenever you get, okay, from Excel files or flat files, we'll go with um, import mode only, because those data will be like limited. In Excel file, we can't do very big kind of things, and then the file itself will have in MBs, then we can get that. Okay, for that I need to have my SQL Server. Just give me a minute. Let me open my SQL Server so that I'll get my DB. Just 2 seconds. Okay, I'm copying my DB name, and then okay, let's come out here and then I'll paste it. And then I don't want to give any server name. I've been copied, and then I don't want to give. And then I've been selected import. What is import mode? It's nothing but just like how you get the data from Excel or CSV or whatever it might be. The same way you'll get the tables also. Okay, so I'll show you that. Okay, in that I do have. Come on. In that I do have two tables like AMP1 and then AMP2. And then you can see if I load that, okay, I'll get the data. Similarly, I can have the data, and then you can have all these three views. In the data view, you can go ahead and see the tables also. The data of the tables also, you can see. It's normal. We have uh, like report view, and then we have modeling, and then where you have all the relationship, and then you can see over here, this is data view, and then we can have. But okay, I'll show you one other thing. You can have, well, I want to go SQL Server, and then uh, okay, before that, I'll just remove these two tables and then I'll show you. Like to show something else, I want to delete this table and then you can feel the difference. So you have these tables, okay, you can feel the difference of these two things. Okay, let me delete them. Somehow, okay, you can have. See, I don't have any tables right now, and then I'll go for DB SQL Server, and then again I'll give my DB TRS my server name, and then again I want to make it like direct query. There is no advanced options like just like comment timeout minutes, and then like SQL statement, and then like anything that you want, right? Okay, views or something else, and then like uh, these things if you want. I don't want any advanced options, and then I want okay. The direct query, I want to go with this the same tables right now which have been uh, imported the same tables. I want to then load it. I want to load those two tables faster. The fetching also will happens very faster. You can say I do have two tables, but you can see I do have report view and then model view. Where is my data view? You don't have the data view whenever you get that because you can't see the data. You can see the data whenever it is input mode. You can have only the columns and then column names and then data types. You can't even see the data. If you want to see the data, you need to use visuals and then it will fetch the data and then it will show us the visual. Until that, okay, you can't have the data or share in the data view. That is the only option. And then I'll get the data from a normal mode. Then what I'll have right now, you get again these are like import modes. Right now, I'll go and then I'll get the data in an import mode. One more thing. I'll make it mix like import and then like I want to get my EMP table. This table. I want to load it in import mode. What will happen? So potential security error. Okay, not an issue. I trust these things. And then so here right now I'll get my data, but I'll go with this one. And then I'll go for data. You can see the data of this table. And what if I click this one? If I click this one, okay, the table was used direct query and then cannot be shown. You can't see the table, even though this data view is available because of this table, import mode table. It is showing that, but whenever I click on this table, okay, on this table also you can have this one. Whenever I click this, I can see the data, and whenever I click on the table, which I got it from direct query, can see that. So that is the main difference. And then all other options like DAX, querying, and then reporting, everything is same. The relations or everything will be the same. You can use them relationships, and then you can do the department name by the EPT number and department number. You can have relations. Everything you can do it by your own. You can do that and then do that. And give the relations. So everything you can do. Only thing that you can do is like you can see the data. That is the main difference between the import mode and then direct query. And then those like scenarios also I've been to explain you like how and then when we use which kind of things I've been explained you. Just understand those things. That is the main concepts of today. And then theoretical classes, I'll give you some documentation kind of things after the session, after the Q&A session in your WhatsApps. Okay, I'll send those things, and then you can have all the documentation, and then have a look into that, and then you can give the answers year into year. They'll generally ask like, what is the modes that you've been used till now? Have you used the direct query? Have you used import mode? And then like, okay, what is the difference between them? And then what is OLTP? What is OLAP? What is the difference between them? What is normalization? What is denormalization? Okay, OLTP is normalized data, denormalized data. So what is data warehouse? Why we need data marts? So these kind of questions you may get in uh, uh, this today's session, and I will give you those questions also later, or other questions also, some other important questions that you'll get on this particular concepts. I'll give you those things also. You can learn from this in the interview session class. Okay, I'll give you all those questions. Today you don't have any particular task to perform because this is theoretic task. Go ahead, and then tomorrow we'll discuss some visual customization concepts, not like custom visuals. Visual customization, converting a normal default native visual into something new, something special visual, converting a normal visual into something special. So those kind of visual customization concepts we'll learn tomorrow. Then, okay. That's what regarding to this topic. You can ask your questions, if any. I'm stopping recording.